fellow artists. I just want to make sure that my audio levels are perfect today because today is a very, very special stream. It came together last minute starting last night. That's why I am a bit late logging in, folks. But let me make sure that primary mic levels are good to go. I'm looking at my OBS mixer here. And actually, I can raise my seat a little. Liesl, welcome. I'm so glad you're here, Liesl. Man, do I have a special stream for us today. You'll see in a second what I'm talking about. Okay, all right. It looks like my levels are good and Mike is behaving today. So let's go with the formal intros. Hello, fellow artists. Welcome to the 19th Psycheopera Creators Live, where I showcase fellow builders of musical instruments and their work. Whether it's rustic cigar box guitars, traditional flutes, trash bin percussion, synthesizers, software instruments, or DIY MIDI controllers, or classical guitars made by master luthiers. If it's made by humans in a workshop and not by machines in a factory, then I want to talk about it. Okay. As you all know, I'm preparing a musical lecture on the history of the cigar box guitar, and I've uncovered some intriguing information that every CBG builder will find very, very interesting. I am stoked, guys. In my first leg fiddle video, I mentioned that people started building cigar box guitars and fiddles because the US government mandated that cigars be sold and transported in small boxes for taxation purposes. What I didn't realize then was the reason behind this tax stamp. According to my research, it was enacted to fund the Union Army during the Civil War. That's why cigar boxes even exist. I can't believe that my previous searches didn't uncover this fact. And this revelation led me down a rabbit hole last night, and for the first time in many, many years, probably since high school, I wrote a short story. This inspiration just came in time for the spooky season, as the story has a creepy edge. So, in writing the story, I conducted additional research to ensure that the historical details were accurate. I also learned that roselle or rosella, the edible hibiscus I grow, has been cultivated in North Florida since colonial times. And it amazes me how few people who grew up here know about it. People are losing touch with important knowledge and their history. And that's not unique to North Florida. So my story references some wild plants that were once important to the people in my area, but now almost forgotten and often dismissed as weeds. In my opinion, folks, there's no such thing as weeds. There's just something we don't, they're just plants that we don't know how to use. That's my take on it. I know it's controversial, but hey, there it is. Liesl says, wow, yes, Liesl, I am still wowing with you. I am so amazed that that little tiny piece of information didn't show up in my initial research. Crazy. So I just finished putting together a simple video that shares my story. Now, here's the thing. I plan to score this video in real time using cat to back my first build. In honor of the season, I'd like to make this video available to friends who have participated in my live streams. That's including you, Liesl. And challenge them to score it with their favorite hand-built instrument. And then this is what's going to happen with all of the newly scored film. On Halloween, I'll release a compilation video on my channel complete with timestamps and have people on YouTube vote for their favorite video. with their favorite score. I will announce the winner of this friendly competition during my live stream on November 2nd. To my esteemed builder colleagues, keep an eye on your inboxes. I will send all of you a formal invite and the competition parameters via email. In my compilation video, I will let the audience know what restrictions I put on the competition. Liza says, I'm grateful to the government for the box taxes. Hey, I'm glad to have the boxes, so I'm just going to leave it there. Welcome, Jeff. So we have Jeff Elliott in the chat. Jeff, I am so glad you're here today. Liesl and Jeff now know about my Halloween challenge, and so the both of them will have an eye out on their email. Lauren says it was the cigar manufacturers that put the art on them, not the government. Very good point, Lawrence. Very good point. I'm gonna be scoring this film in real time through an improvisation on Cat to Back. Let's see how that turns out.
The Dark Forest by Dr. Liza Seigido. Once upon a time, a weary hiker got lost deep in a southern wood. He walked for hours but couldn't find the forest's edge. Night was falling quickly, and the long, deadly branches of old granddaddy oaks creaked above as their leaves hissed in the rapid October wind. A storm was coming, and he needed shelter fast. His cell phone went dead, and he regretted deviating from the trail in favor of a wilder experience, sinking into despair. Exhausted from fighting off spider webs and jumping at the sound of scurrying creatures under the cushion of fallen leaves, he dropped onto his knees and begins to weep. Resigned to riding out the storm in the darkness among the forest creatures and creaking widowmakers, he felt something brush up against his back. He leaps to his feet and hears the rapid rustling of ground cover. It seems like whatever brushed up against him ran away, but, too scared to move, he remained standing, motionless. A minute, which seemed like an eternity, passed when he heard light footsteps in the leaves approaching his position. So many stealthy, deadly animals live in these woods. He felt a surge of heat on his face and his limbs tensed. But suddenly, he heard a familiar sound. The trill of a cat. He turned to face it, but it managed to rub up against his legs before he could locate it. "Hey, kitty, you scared the hell out of me," he said out loud. He reached down to pet the friendly calico, but it jumped away and bolted ahead of him. He could no longer see the cat, but instinctively began running in the direction it fled, driven by a strange impulse to follow a sliver of warmth. His frantic scamper continued until a blinding light and a voice halted his steps. "Are you turned around, mister? Lose your way?" It took a moment for his eyes to adjust to the light. The glow came from an old woman holding up a kerosene lantern. She was frail, but stood straight, her face a roadmap of deep creases. Her clothes were simple, a faded cotton dress resembling an apron with sleeves. "Yes," he replied, regaining composure. "Can you help me get to the nearest town? I will pay for gas," he continued. "Mister, there ain't time enough to be getting to town," she replied, her voice soft but sharp. "A squall's fixin' to break, and you look like death warmed over. You just come on and follow me." She led the way with her lantern. Was she barefoot? He couldn't quite tell in the light. "Mister, there ain't anything in this forest that can hurt me now," she said, without turning around, as if answering his deepest, unspoken fear. The words gave him a shiver that had nothing to do with the wind. He followed cautiously until the drizzle turned into rain, and her quickened steps became a race towards an unknown destination. As he dragged behind her, he noticed the calico cat trotting effortlessly alongside her. Was that the cat I met earlier? It must have led her to me, he thought, and somehow he found that comforting, so he picked up the pace. The old woman slowed, and they came upon a massive, ancient, live oak tree. Its limbs, thick as barrels, spread out like protective arms. Perched among the moss-draped branches, a small, rustic cabin seemed to grow right out of the tree itself. Creepy, yet inviting all at once. The cat leaped nimbly up the trunk. "Here's my place," she announced. He followed her up a short ladder to a creaky wooden platform that led to a door. As he stepped through the threshold, a sudden warmth enveloped him, and the drumming rain instantly faded into a gentle tapping. Along the rough-hewn walls, bunches of dried herbs hung, their earthly scent mingling with the smell of burning oak from a small pot-belly stove. He saw dried sprigs of sweet everlasting, a flowering weed his grandmother called rabbit tobacco. There were bright green, wrinkled maypops still attached to the vine, along with branches that held clusters of beautiful red berries. The kerosene lamps cast a soft, warm, amber glow over the single, simple room. He saw a small cot, a sturdy wooden table, and leaning against the wall, a curious rustic string instrument made from an old cigar box, its neck carved from a broom handle. He'd never seen such a thing. "Sit yourself down, mister," she instructed. "I'll make you a hot drink and something to eat." He watched her move, utterly self-assured and efficient. The cat, now curled by the stove, watched him with unblinking green eyes. "That's a fine cat," he said, trying to make conversation. "She's my eyes and ears," she replied, not looking up. "She's a sure foot even when the rest don't know north from south." She poured him a cup of steaming tea that tasted powerfully sour and was red like the clustered berries on the dry branches. As the storm raged outside, she spoke of trails that were no longer marked on maps, of moonless nights, and a time when the forest paths meant the difference between life and something worse than death. "You may believe it's not but shadow and trouble," she said, "but here the law can't touch us, and the woods see to a body's needs." She spoke of duty and the long, continuing work of guiding lost souls to safety. Her words wove a pattern of deep history and timeless knowledge, hinting at a life stretched back to an impossible era. He finished his tea, feeling a profound sense of peace. The storm outside seemed less like a threat and more like a necessary cover for the work that continued here. When the sun finally rose, the forest floor was wet and sparkling. She gave him a small bundle of dried berries and pointed him to a faint deer path. "Follow that trail, mister. Keep the sun to your left shoulder, and it'll lead you straight to the paved road." He reached into his pocket for his wallet. "Miss, let me pay you for your kindness." She shook her head, a soft smile finally touching her lips. "You tend to the next one, mister. Find your way in this world and then lend a hand to others so they may find theirs. The Lord's good grace is payment enough." He thanked her, feeling a strange lightness and strength. As he started down the path, he looked back. The cabin, the old woman, and the cat were all gone, swallowed by the morning mist and the shadow of the colossal live oak. He followed the path she instructed, found the paved road exactly where she said it would be, and eventually returned to his life. But he carried something new, the realization that powerful lights exist in the darkness of the world, and he was determined to become one of them. And as one would expect, he never forgot the woman who was lost in time, who helped him find his way home.
It was fun. I haven't done that type of improv with a piece of media in a long time. Chat, what did you think of the story? Lawrence, what did you think of the story?
No, it's a cool story. Definitely could tell that it's you who wrote it. Sweet Everlasting and basically all the things you like are in it.
All the plants that I love.
Yeah.
Sweet Everlasting, folks, if you don't know what that is, hold on. I got some behind me because I use it in my incense burner. Every time I see Sweet Everlasting, aka rabbit tobacco, I harvest it.
Yeah.
Bullshaw CBG says, I like it. Thank you, Bullshaw. And thank you, Liesel.
The
Liesel says
guitar
some
was
of
a
it could be
little
put
low.
to music as lyrics. Very interesting. That is something to consider, Liesel. Need a longer headphone cable so I don't have to be taking it off when I walk around picking up stuff. But folks, this is Rabbit Tobacco or Sweet Everlasting. It's a biennial that pops up everywhere here in North Florida on forest edges. All right, if there's a little tiny bit of sunlight, that's enough for it to grow. If you rub your hands up against it, your hands smell like maple syrup. And when you burn it in an incense burner, your room also smells like maple syrup. It's an amazing herb. Traditionally, it was used as a strewing herb and as a smudging herb. Native Americans actually used rabbit tobacco. I don't know what the native name for it, the original name for it is, but it was burned to cast away evil spirits. Very interesting, huh? Since it is a biannual, it doesn't pop up every year. I harvest as much as I can get and put it away in a little cigar box up here where I have my incense burning herbs. And yeah, I always have a healthy supply of rabbit tobacco on hand. And when I talk to people who grew up here about this little wild herb, they don't seem to know anything about it. All of the information I've learned about it has been available online because I started going crazy researching wild plants when we first moved on to this homestead. I used to drive Lawrence crazy. It's like, look what my plant scanner showed up. Look at this. If you live on the East Coast, Virginia and south, I think you'll be able to find Sweet Everlasting close to your hedgerows right about now. And so, rabbit tobacco featured in the story. Now, Lawrence, what other herb do you think I was referencing in my story?
Well, was it Rosella?
Um, I talked about Rosella in the opening because in during my research for writing this short story, I learned that Rosella was actually grown here in North Florida during colonial times. There's a species that's native to the Caribbean, but Rosella was a food that was grown in North Florida since colonial times. And again, that's something else that many locals, people who grew up, I'm a local now, but people who grew up here don't know about. Rosella, by the way, is an edible hibiscus that, and most of you might know it through the drink Jamaica. The out when you go to a Mexican restaurant or an authentic Mexican restaurant, they serve homemade agua fresca, and they take the calyxes from the flower after it falls off, and it becomes kind of like a big red berry, and you make a tea out of it, a really nice dark red tea, and it's very sour. And they make an agua fresca called Jamaica with it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. A homesteader who is not interested in homesteading. Interesting.
No, it's not that I'm not interested. I'm just taking it all in.
Yeah. I reference another native herb, something, well, it's not really an herb, it's a fruit tree, that people up here consider to be a weed, but in the Middle East is recognized as a very valuable plant. You know what it is?
Oh no, sumac.
Sumac, yes. So sumac, not poison sumac, guys. Regular winged sumac with the red berries that grow. It basically grows in sand, in dry places. Sumac is a wild tree that grows on hedgerows and at the edges of forests. And our homestead is just filled with these trees. They're very flexible, but they have they spread out. Their branches do spread out, and on the tip of their branches is where they produce their flower clusters, and eventually those flower clusters become a beautiful red berry. If you've checked out my relaxation homesteading CBG vibe video playlist, where I'm now putting together videos to help people sleep and relax, I feature sumac in my latest video on that playlist. And sumac was used in North America and in Europe. It's native to both continents. And it grows in the Middle East as well. And it was used to make sour drinks before citrus became a thing, either in Europe or in North America and in the Middle East. And what you do is you take some warm water and you put the berry bunches into the water, just let it sit there overnight. You don't want to heat up the water because then it'll become bitter. The seeds will make your drink bitter, but you just let it infuse in warm water overnight, and then when you go to drink it the next day, you have something that tastes like unsweetened lemonade. It's that sour. In the Middle East, they take the skin of the berries, which is kind of, they're hard and crunchy berries, and then they have a hard seed in the middle, and they use that outer portion of the berry as a spice on their food. You can buy sumac spice in Publix now. We have it growing wild everywhere here in North Florida. And again, people have lost their knowledge and their history, and they don't know that this very valuable berry, which people use to make spices and drinks with, and were used in ceremonies and rituals by the Cherokee, people don't know that they have it in their backyard. I'm trying to help bring this knowledge back. And you can tell, very passionate about this. I think our homestead, I think we've harvested more from the wild plants on our homestead than we've actually
Yeah.
than the pear
Well,
trees and the other things that we've tried to make work. It's very hard to grow anything up here in North Florida, and Lawrence can attest to that.
yeah. I was struggling there for a couple of years, and now that we have the Jerusalem artichoke and Rosella going, hopefully, we could be more productive than we were because we're growing things that work well here
Right.
instead of trying to do the standard, vegetables that
Right. You got to work with your
Everyone's
land.
supposed to grow, but it doesn't seem to work here.
Supposed to grow. Why is it that everybody has to eat the same vegetables across the planet?
Everybody's proud of their tomatoes.
But tomatoes are from North America, yet it's a state. I mean, there are a lot of things that originated here in North America that became staple foods in Europe. But how about the native European plants? What did people eat before the Americas were discovered? I want to know more about that. What did native people here eat before Europeans showed up? I want to learn about that, and I've been
Mice
learning
or maize, however it's pronounced, maíz.
in Spanish maíz. Lizo says, "Wow, I didn't know about this herb." Every place on earth has herbs and fruit trees that happen natively there. You just got to go out looking for them and get to know them and learn how to use them. Of course, with caution. I'm not saying to go out and be reckless and just taste everything because you can poison yourself that way. But, you know, quadruple research something that you find, and when you feel confident enough to try it, give it a go. It's valuable knowledge. We're here struggling to grow citrus, and we have sumac just happening without us even trying. And so it's a blessing. It's a gift from the earth. It's a gift from the Creator, and how dare we reject those gifts? And so, yeah, the short story is full of that knowledge. One thing about the story, I didn't want to exactly reveal who the old woman was. Was she immortal and was a conductor of the Underground Railroad? Or was she an angel? Was she some type of spirit? I didn't want to define who this woman was. I wanted to leave it open to the audience's imagination. Albert says many of them are likely medicinal if prepared the right way. I'm sure you have found through your research. Absolutely. I recently learned through one of you, actually, in the audience, that a little daisy that's growing everywhere on the property right now, I think it's called Spanish spear, if I'm remembering correctly, is used medicinally. And I want to know what every single thing that pops up from the ground here does. Apart from being pretty, because it is a very beautiful plant as well, and the bees love it. I'm seeing honeybees on my property, whereas I know locally people are having trouble getting bees on their property. It's a problem up here, and mainly because people are over landscaping and not letting the wild stuff come out. Gotta work with nature, people. With, not against it, because you won't win. Trust me, we've tried, we've lost, we've given up, and then we've learned a new way to do things.
Do you have something to put in the picture frame there?
Oh, okay. I do.
Yeah, the big
I
blank
do.
spaces.
Space. Speaking of space, what are we doing on earworms today?
Well, there's a little space involved, but we're covering the first episode of the series UFO from Jerry and Sylvia Anderson. We did Space 1999 last week, and now we're going to do UFO, which was a series they did before that. And we had a lot of fun last week, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, if there's anyone in the chat who loves sci-fi and 1970s, well, early 70s, this particular show feels like it's in the 60s. I thought that a lot of the jokes they made in Austin Powers were just exaggerated, you know, oversimplifications
Oh, no.
of the style of what happened in the shows in the 90s. No, no.
Yeah.
I felt like I was watching a parody, and it wasn't. It's hard to get used to.
Yeah,
Ah, Liesel
everything's
says
about.
Jerry Anderson. Thumbs up, Liesel. If you can, we would love to have you in the chat.
Yeah,
Yes.
it'll be late, but it's our midnight time. But
Yeah. Yeah, I know
a
for
number
you
of people
guys.
do join us from the UK. But
Yeah, you guys who join us from the UK are hardcore, and we appreciate all of our audience, but
well,
especially
it's
those of
something to
you
be
who is a, where our shows are red eye shows.
it's
Go ahead.
something to be proud of because Jerry and Sylvia Anderson were, you know, British producers, and it was a great job. The works they did. There's something genuine about them,
Yeah.
you know.
Albert says people of past generations knew much more about this topic than we do now, perhaps. Not perhaps, for sure, Albert. Um, I know my mom knew a ton about the native plants.
Well,
Where,
she also had a book,
and she had a book. She had
that
a book.
Michael Castleman book.
Yes, the Michael Castleman book was her Bible for the longest time. But even before that, growing up in Cuba, she knew a lot of the medicinal properties of the plants she grew up with. She says her older brother was kind of like the family curandero. He knew everything. And but she didn't learn much from her brother. And I know that she's encouraged him to write everything down, and maybe I could help him publish it in the future. But yeah, knowledge is getting lost. Lost, lost, lost. People have totally lost connection to the land entirely. With creation entirely. It's very, very sad.
If you ever want to make your tarot card images into actual cards, you're going to have to move that one guitar neck
Yeah, I
inside the
know.
card.
I was thinking about that. How do I get High Priestess's diddly bow completely in the image without taking away from the image? And so
You could have
may
two versions. There might
yeah.
be a way to tell AI, take the guitar neck and shorten it.
The only yeah, or I can make the or I can re-gimp it and shrink the diddly bow and angle it in a way that it fits entirely in the card, or maybe I could just angle it. If I shrink it, I lose the proportions. I
Yeah.
would really like to print these when I finish the major arcana and all the minor arcana. I really do want to get these my little CBG tarot cards printed, you know?
Yeah, I think you're going to have to reduce its size if you're going to
Yeah.
get it inside. You can't really curve it because that doesn't work as a guitar or a diddley bow.
I'll have to think about it. Things to consider. You know, it's a good problem to have. You have a beautiful piece of art and you want to do more with it, and you have
Mhm.
to find a way to do it. And so that's, for me, that's a good problem to have. Liesel says, uh, I didn't like Joe 90. I thought he was a big head. Is that a character from UFO?
Yeah, not that I've noticed so far, but I've only done episode one because I'm just starting the series now because it aired before my time and it wasn't on reruns in the U.S. as far as I know. Um, so I'm learning it now. From
Liesel also says, I like Captain Black and Captain Scarlet and the
Captain
Mysteriums.
Scarlet is another Jerry Anderson thing with what is that called? The marionation, like puppets, like marionette puppets that are animated, also kind of like a combined effect. It was really, really interesting because it was unique.
I know of it, but I've never watched the show.
Because
So,
you've seen claymation before, but this was different.
yeah.
It was puppets, and yeah, really interesting. And Barry Gray, the composer, did some great music for a lot of these different series. And Barry Gray has his own Onde Martineau. which produced the
Ooh,
sound of the Mysterions.
nice.
Yep.
Yep, yep. Talking about some earworms classics. I'm
We
trying.
talked about
Yeah,
everything here.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
on sci-fi and herbs.
Well, that's because I don't know. Seems like a lot of electroacoustic people
Yeah.
are
Have
into
imaginations.
sci-fi.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Have imaginations, and we're a little bit more interested in those stories that have imagination rather than lawyer and cop dramas.
Yeah. I mean, not to knock lawyer and cop dramas. If that's what you like, that's what.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
that what
sorry.
in,
Probably
if
shouldn't have said that, but no, I'm just saying that that's why a lot of us gravitate towards fantasy or science fiction.
Liesel, I'm gonna read your chat before I try to fix my camera. Liesel says suggestion: work on the knights of each suit on horseback with CBGs. Hey, Liesel, I mean, you guys are a font of great ideas, and sometimes I don't know where to begin, but that is a fantastic idea. Thank you, Liesel.
Yeah.
Which is why I challenge you all to participate in my Halloween challenge where you have to score, as I did. It doesn't have to be an improvisation, but you have to score my story with one of your favorite builds. And I will send the competition parameters via email to all of my friends who've participated in this live stream.
Yeah,
Uh,
your playing was a little low in level compared to the narration in the video.
so
But
I was a little worried that
yeah,
that
if you want people to
yeah,
compose their own scores, you don't want to overpower it. But
right.
I didn't want to say anything while it was playing because
No,
it was
great.
already
I
good.
was I was a little worried that I was overpowering the narration and
Oh
that
no,
people couldn't hear the
no,
story.
no, no.
Okay.
Definitely sounded background.
Okay, good. Well, what I'm planning to do is put together a better score for it myself with cat to back and some processing on cat to back as well. And just join in the fun on the competition. And what I plan to do, folks, I will email you the files, give you the parameters for the competition, and then you guys send me your videos, and I'll put together a big compilation video with timestamps. And I'm gonna release it on Halloween. I'll make sure to release it as a premiere. Then on November 2nd, the stream following Halloween, I'll announce the winner. Prize? I haven't made up my mind yet, but for sure, the pride of having won the competition is the greatest prize of all, right? But I'll make sure to throw in something of my own as well. What kind of video are we to make? So I'm gonna send you my video without the improvised score, of course, and you can put together your own score for it, and they'll be voting for their favorite score to the story. And so I'll be sending more of the competition parameters in an email, and I'll also let the audience know in the big compilation video that what those parameters were, so they know how hard the challenge was. I'll mention this in the email as well. You'll also be able to post the video that you put together on your channels as well, so long as you tag Psycheopera either in the title or in the video description. We're good. We're good. Those of you who are invited to participate in the competition, please don't share my video files with other people. This is an exclusive competition just between us friends. I would have liked to open the competition to more people, but that would have violated YouTube's terms of service, which you have to be very careful with. And so this is a closed competition between friends just for fun, just collaborating, creating art together. So, thank you, Liesel. Yes, Albert, you can absolutely play some Saw for for the story. This is not exclusively a cigar box guitar competition. And I'm also going to send the Flute Wizard some information about the competition as well. We'll have some diverse entries, so that'll be interesting. Lawrence, are you going to participate in the competition?
No.
No.
No. That would be, well, I guess I'm too close to the judge.
Too close to the judge? Well, I'm not the judge. YouTube is the judge.
Oh, okay.
People are going to be voting in the comment section of the video. Yeah, I'm not going to presume to judge anyone's work. I'm going to leave it up to the commenters on YouTube to pick the winner. That's why I'm entering myself into the competition.
Yeah. Well, it deserves a rustic sound, and I'm not necessarily good at that.
Oh, it would be cool to do something that you built, because you do.
I didn't build anything.
You build instruments on VCV rack.
Oh, yeah, electronic instruments.
Yeah, why
and
not?
That story would be kind of bizarre.
Bizarre is good.
Sometimes, but I no, in that I don't feel electronic would work there.
Okay, but you'd be surprised. Yep, people are giving you the thumbs up, Lawrence. That means give it.
I think they're saying, yeah, you're right.
Oh. Liesel says, "I will string my best guitar." Cool, 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 cool. Taxation was the reason for cigar boxes to exist, but taxation is also the reason why this Nikon keeps misbehaving. Not joking, folks. It really is.
It's not misbehaving. It's doing what it was forced to have to do because of the taxation on professional cameras and stuff.
Yep.
Even though this is kind of professional quality, it's just like, no. You have to pay taxes if you want it to be able to record videos longer.
Yeah, if you wanted to function as a camera. Fully
video camera.
As
yeah.
a video camera, yes. Frustrations.
That's the thing. It's like, as soon as you try to go into business or do something professional, it's like the prices go up a lot.
Yeah.
And so.
Yes. In fact, I was battling with this morning. I run a free mailing list on Wix, and I've reached the point where I have too many subscribers to send emails to all of my mailing list. Wix Premium, just the lowest level, is almost $30 a month.
Jeez.
And it's like, I ain't even making that with my business yet. A lot of resources out there that help people like me out. And again, if you're like me, trying to get a creative business together and want to know what I use for this or that, shoot me an email. I'd be happy to tell you. I'm in competition with no one here. An artist can't possibly, if an artist is producing honest work, can't possibly be in competition with any other artist, because everyone's voice is so individual. Even if they're, you could just see it in the CBG realm. My guitars are totally different from Del Puckett's guitars, from Liesel's guitars, from who else was in the chat? I think Busker was in the chat.
Jeff Elliott was there.
Jeff Elliott. All of our CBGs are just so entirely different. We're not even on the same plane in as far as how we build things is concerned. So let's all support each other. We're all trying to do the same thing. There's plenty of audience and plenty of customers to go around, folks. And yes, Albert, I agree. The lecture would make good content for the channel. And that's why I'm hoping that I can get someone to film it. But if not, I'll produce it as a regular video here at home with the help of my friend Pete. And you guys will see some version of the lecture here on YouTube for sure.
You also, maybe ahead of time, should ask the library if it's okay to film, just to be safe.
I already asked them, they said it was okay. And they're going to be filming themselves for their own social media. So, cool.
Well, if they do a good job, maybe they can give you a copy, or they say no, it's valid.
I will not. We've learned, Lawrence, that if we want documentation of our performances, that we should not rely on the
Well, I'm not saying
producer.
relying, but maybe they do a better job, because remember, my vision ain't great. My framing of shots might not be the best.
We shall see. I like having my own video for sure. I don't like relying on the producer of the event to supply me with anything, not even equipment. And so, yes. All right, folks. So before I shift to my shameless plug, I want to thank everyone who has purchased a t shirt. You guys have gone, you guys have, I mean, I'm just flabbergasted that I'm able to make anything that people want to buy. Um, I mean, with cigar box guitars, I'm pretty confident they're cool. I know that people like it, but when it comes to T-shirts and things like that, I'm not as confident, and I really appreciate the wonderful positive feedback I've gotten on my t-shirt designs. So cool beans, and thank you for supporting my channel and for supporting just my work in general. And so much appreciated. And so I'm gonna shift to my shameless plug, and then we'll go to our diddly bow outro, and then I'll see many of you on Earworms tonight. So here we go. Yep. Can
Hey, Podcast, ready to share some truly exciting news and a massive thank you with all of you. Because of your incredible support, your views, your likes, your comments, and just your sheer presence here on my YouTube channel, we've hit a huge milestone. My channel is not eligible for fan funding. That includes my very own store shelf right here on YouTube, making it easier than ever for you to find my unique cigar box guitar themed apparel. My designs feature fun characters, like Mona Lisa, holding one of my favorite hand-built cigar box guitars. And while many of these instruments have found new homes, these designs allow me to continue to enjoy them, creating the perfect t-shirts, sweaters, or hoodies for wearing at CBG festivals, craft markets, and gigs. I've partnered with bonfire.com to fulfill my garments, which means that they ship internationally and are sourced only from responsible RAP certified manufacturers. Plus, you won't find my channel logo plastered all over these garments. The focus is purely on the art, the joy of the cigar box guitar, and my quirky characters. My website is discreetly placed just in case anyone asks where you snag such a unique piece. Because, let's be honest, you're interested in the art, not the brand, right? And hey, super subs, remember to use your promo code during checkout, by the way. For those of you who've been with me for a while, you know that this isn't just about making a living. It's about making a life. It's about building a world where I can spend my days immersed in the art of creation, sharing it with people who truly appreciate what I do, like you. Your support is helping me build that reality, and for that, I am eternally grateful. By the way, I'd love to hear from you. What other products would you like to see my designs on? Mugs? Notebooks? Or something entirely different? Let me know in the comments below. Your ideas will help me shape the future of this channel and these creations. Thank you again for everything, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Chaito.
All right, folks. So just a formal goodbye here. Thank you so much for being here on the live or watching on the replay. And I'll see you in the next video. Chaito.